Hi, this is Majinoni, and here's my review for Green Lantern Corps number 61 and Green Lantern 67. This is the end of the War of the Green Lanterns. And I have to say, this is probably one of the most disappointing ends I've ever seen in a very, very long time. Now, I fully understand there's a difference between, a manga way of telling a story and an American DC Marvel way of telling the battle. And when I see this, and I understand how it could have been if they actually had the ability to tell more, have more page count, then it could have been a truly spectacular battle. But as I'm reading this, this is the best way I can describe it. Imagine you have 700 pages of the final conflict, and when I read this, what it looked like was happening is you take maybe 25 pages here, and then take another 10 pages there, another 30 pages there, and so on and so on, and that's what you end up with. You end up with basically a very high-level overview of the fight without getting into emotional, like emotions going crazy, people having to overcome extreme adversity. You don't get, tragedy. You don't get the ultimate highs from winning. There is an oh my god moment at the end, but even the oh my god moment at the end is basically like when I got to it, I'm like, oh, yeah, that would have been cool if I knew that ending is going to stick. And I'll cover the ending when I'm done. I mean, there will be spoilers, because I think the ending's important, and it's pretty much already been spoiled for you guys if you've been following the relaunch. And like I said, it's just, to me, it's just, I never went through the highs and lows. Like when I read the One Piece Impel Down story arc, that thing had just so many highs and lows, and you just had, oh my god, and then there was a death, and then the death really affected, the readers because of how they built the story. But this, it's just, even the death that happened here, it was just, oh, really? That's all it took? And that's why, for me, this book was a colossal failure. Now, basically, Hal tells Kyle, here's a pen, and you need to go to the book to write, basically, you have to write all the characters back into reality. So that's how you get all the other characters back out of the book. The rings go to everybody, and then basically, it's like, there's the swerve that says, no, I'm sorry, you're not going to get the rings. The rings go to Gambit, and, oh, sorry, not Gambit, but, whatchamacallit, the evil dude, evil blue guy. And, you just get colors. That's all you really get. You get a bunch of colors, and, one thing that was surprising is you do get Sinestro getting the green ring. Now keep in mind, this would have been a surprise if it came out way back when, but when you see the solicitations, you already see Sinestro in a Green Lantern outfit, so I was like, oh, that's how he gets the ring, type thing. Well, anyways, as expected, they do the final push for the battle, and Hal Jordan kills a Guardian. And while this two-page spread was a really nice picture, I thought. I love the energy going through. I like the color part here. I love this circle here, the energy zipping around. This was a really phenomenal piece of artwork. At least I think so. But then everything after that, it's like, oh, it's over. It basically falls flat. Once the climax happened, it just fell flat from there. Even the part where they go, oh, Hal Jordan, you killed the Guardian, we can't let that happen, and they take away his ring and teleport him back to Earth. And I'm like, well, yeah, that would have been shocking if Hal Jordan would never become a Green Lantern again. But we all know he's going to get his ring back. It's just a matter of how many months is it going to take for him to get the ring. And, that's what's so disappointing. There's no risk. It's like, you're basically, if you're at a circus and you're watching trapeze artists, if there's a net, you go, oh, if they slip and fall, then they're just going to hit the net. But without the net, then you're like, oh crap, if they slip and fall, they're going to die. And I feel that that's what this book has. It has that safety net. So no matter what happens in this book, I know that it's just everybody will be fine at the end. And when they do something like this, that's why to me it's just not shocking. It's not even like, if somebody told me this like at a comic book store before I read this, I would have just been like, oh, no big deal. And it's an utter disappointment. Now, this book here, The Core, number 61, basically it's dealing with Jon Stewart. And when you see this cover, I was like, whoa, he's going to do it again. So obviously he's getting pushed in a direction. Well, that doesn't happen. What we have here is, if you remember, during the war, with the death of Mongo, Mongo was sending out all those rings to everybody to turn them into murderous Green Lanterns. Well, probably like 99% of those people are basically taking off their rings and going back to their homeworld. And which, kind of makes sense that they go, hey, I never really signed up for this type thing. Especially when you get thrown into in the middle of a war type thing. Well, there's one Green Lantern here who basically goes, I got the ring, and I was a cop, and I want to keep it. So, they have some nice dialogue with the recruit and Jon Stewart. And this was like a really good, I guess you can say, character building story in the sense of, if you never knew anything about Green Lantern or Jon Stewart, you saw him kill Mongo, and now you see the other side of him. The way he handles things. So you get the war-peace side, because basically what happens is there's a war going on between these two races over here, and this Green Lantern comes in and tries to directly interfere in the battle by taking away everybody's weapons, thus escalating the war, while Jon Stewart goes and he talks peacefully. So like I said, it's the yin-yang type side of Jon Stewart. But, so for a new reader, hey, this did its job in that sense. As an established reader who knows Jon Stewart, who knows the continuity and everything like that, I didn't have that much of an emotional investment in this. I didn't care. I mean, I've seen John, I've seen Kyle, I've seen Hal do the same types of things 100 times already. So for me, it didn't really do, I think, what it was originally intended to do. Now, granted, it also showed a different side of handling a conflict for the recruit, and it looks like they're going to keep her as a character, which is fine. It doesn't matter to me. You make her look like this, then what's the difference between her and an insect with 20 arms? There's no difference. They're just, these guys are expendable characters. They're never going to amount to anything important. And so this is another issue where I can say it was a decent issue, but at the same time, for me, it did absolutely nothing. And I guess you can say it's a disappointment. Both of these issues have been a disappointment. In my head, I can see how good the War of the Green Lanterns should be. And to me, it never really lived up to its potential. And I mean, like, going back to like the Sinestro Wars, even though the Sinestro Wars, I thought it's another case of it's a huge battle that could have been better, but I still liked it. It still had enough going on in it to make me enjoy the ride. This one to me, it just seemed basically what they did was copy paste, and copy paste, and it just didn't do anything for me. So anyways, if you have any comments or questions, let me know. Rate the video up or down, let me know what you think, and I'll put more reviews later. So until